Johnny from You Know Media here. In this video, we're going to show you how to set up a campaign for your search ads within your Google Ads account. So stay tuned. At You Know Media, we help companies grow and thrive using the latest tools, tricks, and marketing techniques. From websites to automated sales funnels, social media content, and much more. We're constantly releasing new material on our YouTube channel, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. Also, feel free to leave your questions in the comment section below. Just before you get going, I want to quickly tell you about our exclusive offer. We are giving free access to our paid Hub You Know platform to the first 50 people who click the link in the description below. This offer is going on all of our YouTube videos, so hurry and click it to get your place. Within Hub You Know, we have created over 100 training videos in 13 courses, including a course on running a successful Google Ad campaign. You'll also find recorded webinars and a host of other free content, so remember to click on the link in the description. So after that, let's get on with the video. When setting up an ad campaign in Google Ads, it will go through 3 stages: campaign settings, setting up ad groups, and create ads. In the next series of lessons, we're going to look at how you move through these stages for a search ad campaign. Search ad are the adverts you see at the top of Google rankings whenever you type something into Google. Though they can be expensive, if set up correctly and optimized, they can lead to a high ROI. In this lesson, we're going to have a look at how you set up the campaign settings for a search ad campaign. So what we're going to go through is how to set up a new search campaign, which are the adverts that appear in the top of Google whenever you search through it. Now here you can click New Campaign, or in Campaigns there is going to be a button just at the bottom here, but we're going to go through the overview part, click New Campaign. Now the two I tend to use are either sales or leads. There are, for example, website traffic or brand awareness, but they don't drive towards conversions and you can end up spending a lot of money on them. So we're looking to drive towards leads, so I'm going to click on that one. Now this is a type of campaign we want, so we've got search, display, shopping, video, smart, or discover. Now we're going to want a search campaign. Now what ways would you like to reach your goal? We've got website visits, phone calls, store visits, app downloads, or lead form submissions. Now it might sound like we want leads here, so we're going to do a lead form submission. However, that puts a lead into your Google ad. What I prefer to do is to do website visits. Now the reason I prefer to do website visits is because we've got a form on our website, so we can send them straight to that page. If they go onto that page, have a look around, and then click off to another site, we can capture them in Google Analytics, put them into an audience in Google Ads, and then send them new adverts. That's very useful. On our website, we can also give them more branded information compared to just an advert. And we also have much more control over the form. So we can optimize for buttons, we can change the fonts and the colors really easily. So I prefer website visits with then just putting in your website and then simply just click continue. So this page is really easy. Now this is a bit more complicated. So the first thing you do is give your campaign a name. So I'm just going to call this one simply form submissions. Alright, now this next bit and this first choice is really important. Please don't skip this step. So search network, we want our ads to run there. We don't want them on the display network. And later on in the course we'll talk about display network and where it's really good, but we're not going to be using it for the moment. So the next thing is show more settings. You've got the start and end dates, campaign URLs, won't go into those right now. I'll do a webinar on dynamic search ads that I'll link to this course, but I won't go through those quite at the moment either. So next thing is, where are you targeting? So where is your audience going to be? So we do not want it shown all over the world. You might just want it shown inside the UK. Or if you have a look in location options, so say for example you select the United Kingdom, we want to include, and it might sound like this recommended one's good, people in or who show interest in your targeted locations. Now we actually want this second option, people in or regularly in your targeted locations. The reason generally for that, you might want to put this one, but the reason I generally put that one is that if, say for example, you had a business in London, like maybe we'll set up now, And people were showing interest in London who were from a different part of the country, or who were from, a different country entirely. They might not be able to travel to your shop, so you might only be interested in people who are in or regularly in your targeted location. Now let's say, for example, you had a shop and it was in London, and you could simply type in the location there, but I always prefer to do with the advanced search. So let's say you're entering a location and we're saying London, so in the whole of the London area that we can target. It then zooms straight on that map. If we zoom out a little bit, that's where it's zoomed in on London. Now we're thinking, okay, it maybe not targeted the whole area we want. So the one thing I kind of like is also the radius option. So when I click the radius option, you'll notice a pin drops here. So let's say we had a shop actually in Uxbridge. We wanted to kind of target this area of London, kind of the west side of London. So click radius, click on pin mode, and as soon as you click on it, it goes blue and a little pin drops there. So we're going to drop it straight on Uxbridge. And there you can see, if we target that location, zoom out a little bit, that's put a 20-mile radius around Uxbridge that we wanted to target. Now we can easily put this radius up, or let's say we wanted to do really down a smaller location. You can see just putting in 10 miles, put a much smaller location on there, or just clicking that, you can easily put it up again, put it up to 30 miles just like that. So as soon as you've got your audience, you can put save. I am just going to put it in and just do the whole of the United Kingdom for the minute. Next is languages. I'm just going to leave it as English. You can type in obviously whatever language your adverts will be running in and the people you're attempting to reach. Now the audience section, if you've looked at the Facebook ads course or you run Facebook ads, audience is really important because it's exactly who your advert's going to go to. Search ads are slightly different because you're going to be targeting keywords. However, audiences allow you to put higher bids when they're reaching a certain audience. So let's say, for example, we are doing this as an editing site, and let's say we're looking to target people who are doing a PhD. So we've going to just type into the search one, PhD. Now, there's a few options you've got, either detailed demographics, or in-market audience, or if we go down to it, affinity audiences. Now, detailed demographics, for example, we'd probably want someone who is doing an advanced degree. So you can see there the impressions per week of people doing an advanced degree. I'm going to put that in there. In-market audiences might be, for example, they've got a job in the education sector, or they're searching a lot for education. The affinity audiences, we never really do. They are very broad audiences. So that might be someone who potentially has an interest in banking or finance. So usually avoiding those ones. So we want advanced degrees because we want to be able to put a higher bid on people who are doing advanced degrees. Now it also comes up with some ideas. Now, if we had a lot of data on this, one thing we could do, if I get rid of those ones, is that we could browse some of the audiences we set up. So for example, we could do audiences, and we'll do this one later, that have interacted with our business. And we can say website visitors, there's our LinkedIn audience that we can use. However, let's say we're doing the advanced degree one. Now, you've got then two audience settings for our campaign, either targeted or targeting, It means narrows your campaign search to just the audiences selected, or observations, don't narrow to reach your campaign, with the option to adjust bids on your selected audiences. For this search campaign, we want the observation because we want, say for example, if people are typing in PhD editing or editing from a PhD, we want to appear in that search list. But if someone has typed that in and they are doing an advanced degree, we want our bid to be higher on those people because there's a greater chance they'll convert and be a better customer for us. Okay, so bidding, let's just say budget, we're going to put in £10 for it. And you might want to think about your budget for this one, kind of starting off lower and working your way up. Now with your keyword research, you should already have a rough idea about what it's going to cost per click. And you're kind of potentially looking at about getting 100 clicks worth of data in before you're kind of looking to change your campaign, because that's your initial amount of data before you can start to make some observations on it. So just think, it's £10 per day, that's going to be £300 a month. Obviously you can change your bid depending on your budget, and you can set it to whatever you want for that one. Next we come down to the bidding strategy. Now this can get slightly more complicated. Okay, so first off, it recommends conversions. Now the conversions are when a user completes an action that you want. Now the only problem with bidding on conversions to start with is that you can get some very high cost per clicks, because Google's kind of searching for what's working and putting you at the top of a lot of them, and you haven't put a maximum bid down, and things can sometimes get a bit out of control. If you've got a larger budget, it's kind of okay to let Google do that. What I prefer to do is or select bid strategy directly. It's not recommended, but I prefer this one because this gives us a few more options. I usually start on manual CPC, then moving on to maximize conversions or target CPA. Don't usually do stuff like maximize clicks or maximize or target impressions, because that's going to run through a lot of money. So let me just explain what these are. So target CPC means that I can literally say, okay, for these keywords or for these ad groups, the maximum I want to bid is 80p or £3 or £4 or whatever it is. Now the other ones you've got, maximize conversions, it's obviously going to look for which people are clicking on your site, which ones are going through to complete the conversions, and then it's going to try and find others like those to maximize your conversions. Target CPA is pretty good as well. It's saying, okay, these conversions I'm going to want to say, okay, the target I'm going for is £3 per conversion. And you can start it off at like £5 and bring it down £4, £3, keep driving it down. But I like manual CPC to start with because it allows you to set very direct bid strategy. So you can really control your budget at the start before then switching on to conversions or target cost per acquisitions. So now you want to tell Google what your conversion is. So what are you actually trying to send people towards? Now this is a little bit hidden at the bottom. You see show more settings. It's important that you click on this one because here is where you put in your conversion. So your conversions, you're going to choose an action and we're going to select conversion action, and these automatically come up with the actions that we've imported from Google Analytics. And I imported 2 more from the previous video. So I'm going to choose thank you confirmation. I'm going to click save. And that's the conversion. It's either going to try to say maximize conversions, trying to get you the best return, or even if you're setting that bid strategy, you might think, okay, I don't need that one in there because I'm just looking for clicks, but you still want to know, say, which keyword's working, not just for the clicks you're getting, but how many of those people then go to, how many of those users then go through to complete your conversion, so get to your thank you page. All right, then the ad schedule. Now we tend to say start off with all days and just set up all times, all days, see what works. After kind of a week or 2, start putting these times down. Now you can get quite detailed with this. For example, say Wednesday, I don't know, you say Wednesday from, say 7:45 till a point in the evening, and then you can add more days to this and do it exactly the same. For example, we had a campaign that worked really well in the evenings of weekdays, so we just took out the weekends and took out any time during days and just ran the ads on the weekends. So the final one you've got for this part is the ad rotation. You've got either optimize, and that means if you've got multiple ads, it will give you the best performing ads. It will show them which ones are performing the best. Or you can click on this one, do not optimize. It means that the ads will be rotated and Google won't try and choose one for you. This is useful if you maybe want to see which ad's working best, but to be honest, you might as well just leave it on optimize, prefer best performing ads, because that generally works fine. Now the next thing we're going to go to is ad extensions, but I'm going to do a separate lesson on that one because that is a little more detailed.